Good day, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Joining us today is Joey, the founder of Veshin. As part of our new Sustainable Venture series, we'll be interviewing new entrepreneurs to learn more about their story and journey. So firstly, thank you, Joey, for joining us today.
Hey, guys.
Perfect. So let's it's a great honor to have you joining us today. So with the first question is, can you tell us a bit more about Veshin and what inspired you to set this whole company up?
So Veshin is is an OEM and ODM manufacturer. So that means we're an original equipment manufacturer and an original design manufacturer. 90% of our business is making for other brands. So basically, in a nutshell, we just provide a vehicle for brands to get their products made with a manufacturer that shares the same values as them. The inspiration behind how the company developed was in my previous company. I used to work for a company in Canada called Tentry. So for Tentry, I used to travel to Vietnam and to China. And I was responsible for about 10 factories across Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow.
Just serendipitously, I went to Guangzhou to meet one of Tentry's factories. And I met with the owner of the factory, and basically he specializes in leather goods. And being a converted Buddhist, he wasn't very happy that his business was so dominantly reliant on the leather industry. So he was basically telling me that he has a future vision to start a greener factory model that didn't rely on leather and was looking towards vegan leathers and being more environmentally conscious and more ethical. And after hearing his dream and his vision, I was really inspired to say, hey, I would love to kind of get on board with this project. Mm-hmm. So we left it as a conversation about 2 years ago. I went back to Canada and I kind of consulted with him on the side. Over the course of 12 months, things started to get more exciting. So I proposed to him on a visit back to China in 2019. I proposed to him what a full-time consultant position would look like for me, giving him the direction to kind of build his new factory in the greenest way possible. And he pretty much turned around and said, hey, I don't want you to be a consultant. I want you to be the owner of this factory. So I was like, okay, that makes no sense to me, because I never envisioned living in China and I don't speak Chinese, and there's a lot of things I never kind of thought would happen in my life to some extent. So it was a lot of thinking, but we kind of went back and forth, and I really wanted to be in a position in my life where I could make the biggest difference I could. And I wanted to have my own brand. Being a designer, I always wanted to have my own brand and kind of go down that route. But after being in small businesses myself and seeing the amount of brands on the planet, I just didn't really think that I would be achieving anything creating a new brand, but I felt like I would be able to achieve more creating a factory that was a vehicle for sustainable brands to have a place to go that shared all their mindset. So I basically took the decision to go full time with it. So I quit my job in Canada at the start of this year, and I became a citizen. Funny enough, a month later, I quit the whole thing and then decided to move to China. And then I'm in the UK right now, short term. And then obviously COVID hit, and the plan was to launch Veshin in China this year. But when COVID hit, the fashion industry got put on pause, and I just saw it as an incredible chance and a great platform to really, everyone is kind of tucked up inside and on LinkedIn and on their phones. There's a great platform to launch the company. So I launched it in May, and here we are now. And it's been such a great reception so far, talking to so many incredible like-minded brands and like-minded people. And it's taken off so far. So I couldn't ask for anything more.
Perfect. Sorry about the pronunciation. So it's Veshin, right?
Veshin. So yeah, it's like vegan, and then Shin is a Chinese word that means heart. So it's like Veshin, which is vegan heart.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's amazing. Now the great thing about the factory there, as you can explain, it's very dedicated to produce vegan products. But on top of it, it's ethical, it's sustainable, and so in this day and age, how important do you feel that these two values are? You know, especially as a consumer, are strongly pushing towards those two ethical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, sorry. And secondly, you know, as manufacturers, how can we further help to kind of go greener and push this initiative, you know, globally?
So yeah, it already goes hand in hand. If you're gonna start becoming a vegan yourself in your day-to-day life, you're gonna start, obviously that's a huge sustainable impact that you're making. So it's the same in the fashion industry. If we're gonna specialize in vegan product, it wouldn't be justifying at the factory if we just did vegan products, but other aspects weren't sustainable. So the whole thing just goes hand in hand. And my drive has been sustainability as a designer for the last few years. Basically, the reason why these values are so important for us is that we just see so much potential with manufacturing. And from my experience going to factories, I'm not saying every factory is bad on the planet, but I just feel like not enough is being done from a sustainable initiative and an ethical point initiative to really go above and beyond. So this is why just outside of our core product of manufacturing vegan products, we really want to just push the envelope and just do as much as we can in all aspects of the factory.
Perfect.
What was the second question?
So like, as manufacturers, how can we kind of go a bit more greener and kind of push this initiative globally? As in, we are now seeing these top brands, they're also kind of pushing that way as well. But how can us?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one for manufacturing because I feel like, from my experience, they're still 5 years behind the brand's mindsets. So as the kind of the Western world is so progressed with becoming more sustainable, factories are kind of a bit slower to understand that. So there's a lot of education that has to happen. And it's not like they're not doing it as a malicious thing. It's just about education and understanding what this actually means rather than being told to do it.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of the reason why I'm relocating myself to China, is because I want to take that initiative to really implement these sustainable aspects into manufacturing. And then hopefully what I can do and what we can do can inspire other manufacturers. Not so much our competition, we shouldn't be competing with each other, but we should be kind of educating each other and working together to get up to the same standards. And hopefully I can be an example and kind of show others that it is pretty easy to do, providing you have the right values in place. And it's pretty straightforward when it comes to just putting simple initiatives in place. And it's just really an education standpoint. So hopefully we'll see a shift. A lot of it will come from the brands as well. We need the brands to really educate manufacturers, and instead of just telling them what to do, explaining why they're doing it, and give them the chance and the freedom to try and come back with some solutions as well, rather than just being like, hey, we want to do this. Go to your manufacturer and be like, hey, we're looking to do this. This is how we want to build our brand. If you see anything that's sustainable, or you feel like that's the fit for us, come to the table with it. Don't be scared to have ideas. And that was the kind of the culture that before that I experienced, was that a lot of factories would just wait for a brand to tell them how to do something, whereas it's okay for a factory to provide the solutions as well. So it's basically just giving that freedom and encouraging them to just kind of go out there and find these ideas themselves.
No, totally. So secondly, you've been working with some exciting kind of vegan leathers. So which in particular are you most fond of?
So I guess from a bulk production commercial standpoint, cactus leather, Deserto, they're the ones that I put a lot of focus on. We specialize in high-end leather goods. So it has been a tricky space with the vegan leather goods when you're working with PUs traditionally and microfibers to kind of find a solution that will answer a higher end leather product that can transition into a vegan leather. So with Cactus, they've really done a great job with kind of finding that solution to make that step for a more premium leather product to transition into vegan leathers. They're not just quite there yet with the kind of the biodegradable story at the end, but these are the kind of guys and the companies that are going to continue to push themselves to kind of to find that fully circular solution. Outside of Cactus, I'm really excited to start working with some really great apple leather suppliers.
Okay.
There's mushroom kicking around kind of in labs right now on a very small scale, but I'm really excited to see if that can become a bit more commercially available for production. So grape leathers, there's lots of fruit leathers. Again, these are all kind of on a smaller scale. So I'm really excited to watch this space. And this is the space that PU and microfiber aren't the answer. They've been a great vehicle to get people across from leather into the vegan world, but they're not the true vegan leathers that I aspire to work with. So it's an incredibly exciting time. Cactus for now is what we put our focus on, and then hopefully we'll see many, many more incredible kind of food-related byproducts, you know what I mean, circular leathers that can really answer the solution to a vegan leather.
Perfect. That sounds really exciting. So what is your vision? What is your vision for the future? And which direction do you want to take Veshin into?
So it's all a bit of a catch-22 short term. So basically, Veshin's operating out of my current business partner's factory, which is called Hermia, which is a leather goods factory. Mm-hmm. So long term, our plan is to eventually take Veshin solo. We can't do that right now unless we just invested like $10 million into just building a factory. It's not a shrewd, wise business move to go that hard at starting a new factory. So we're going to start slowly. Our plan is to build Veshin out of our current factory. We have everything in place. We're fully operational. And then over the next, hopefully 1 to 2 years, we'll get to a point where the Veshin clientele will become bigger than our current leather goods clientele. And then after 2 years, we'll be in a position where we can really gauge the interest with the vegan market and see if our factory is going to take off. I'm confident that the industry is shifting. Mm-hmm. And then the big plan is between 5 and 10 years, we're looking at building our own factory. So we're looking at building a really inspiring model of architecture off the grid, kind of fully reliant on renewable sources, solar panels, our electricity, our energy, our water supply, everything's gonna be thought out. Just a really incredible place to just showcase that, one, through architecture, you can create an incredibly sustainable building, and then two, have a platform and an amazing home for Veshin. And then above that, a long term, I would like to, the biggest challenge right now, I guess the thing that is going against what we stand for is the carbon offset of having a factory in China. It would be nice eventually to localize factories per continent. So in Europe, we have a Veshin in Europe, a Veshin in the States, a Veshin in Africa, a Veshin in Australia, like all these kind of little micro factories popping up. And then I'd love to have a school as well, like a factory school. So we build like a place where students can learn manufacturing, and it's kind of like the Veshin University. So they're long-term dreams, but the next big one is basically building our clientele to get us into a point where we can build our own factory and go for that off the grid incredible story.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Joey. As in, your vision sounds amazing on that side. And thank you for giving us your time today and sharing your journey and story about Veshin. And I wish you all the best, and hopefully we can further collaborate in the future. So thanks, Joey.
Cool. Thanks for your time, mate. Really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.